Today on Down with Dedee, my mom will be having a conversation with Jamie Lynn Sigler.
Jamie Lynn, thank you so much for having a little dance with me before we started. And I just wanted to say, I said this when you got right on the Zoom. I love you and I miss you so much.
I miss you too.
Um,
This is
I
the
know,
hard this is like the hard part about this business, right? Is like you
yeah,
just like you get to form these little families and have these beautiful experiences, and as we know, they're so rare when there's like this type of synergy and you feel like it's working and you're like, "No, I want to do this for longer." And then there's just so many different reasons why things don't happen.
yeah.
It's a bummer, but
It is because you're right, because it's like people I don't think they understand. And this is not woe is me. This is not like don't feel
no,
sorry
no,
for
no, no, no,
actors. But
no,
what
no, no.
happens is you go on location, you get plucked out of your environment, you gather the group of people all with like interests. We're all part of the bigger picture of this script or this TV show to bring it alive. And then by the end of the first day, when you met them that morning, you don't even know them. At the end, you're hugging on them and you feel like you've
Mhm.
known them all year, your whole lives. And then you spend this intense quality time with them because you're away from your real families, right?
Yes,
And then bam, when they don't pick your show up, you're lucky to ever see them again. If you're lucky, you
it's
might get a
true.
text.
You're
Yeah.
so right. You're so
Yeah.
right. So here we are. I'm so
So
happy.
that's what's so great. So when I started this podcast, I said, "Oh hell no! I'm gonna go back and have some of those peeps back on." Well,
Yes.
yeah, down with Dee. We talk about whatever social issues that people are really passionate to them. I'm recovering out loud, so that's my thing. But I have a lot of guests on who talk about different topics. You came up with something I thought so profound and so interesting, Jamie Lynn. What did you want to talk about today with me?
Yeah. So I was born, as I'm learning the right terminology, able-bodied. And so I have lived with MS for almost 23 years. I was diagnosed when I was 20 years old. Prior to that, was a dancer, didn't have any health issues. So for all of my adult life, I have slowly um, come to understand and learn what it's like to live with a disability. And while on the positive side, I have been met with such support, particularly, I will say, on Big Sky, because that was my real first experience on a show where I had boundaries. I really was very clear on what I could and couldn't do,
Mhm.
and was met and to be on a show for a long period of time as opposed just a guest here or a guest there,
Right.
where I saw a crew and a group of people never make me feel like a burden or that I was asking for anything extra, but figure out what my needs are and get to know me so well that it was seamless, like to show up and just feel like all of a sudden my trailer would be a little bit closer to set, or they would make sure that the bathroom was closer, or just always have a chair nearby for me to sit down, or even the ads talking to the directors before they got there to be like, listen, this is what Jamie can and can't do, so to just make this easier on her and everybody else, like perhaps have everybody walk around her. Do you know what I mean? To just
Oh
be really
yeah.
conscious of that for me. But in the real world and
Yeah.
in life, I have a different set of eyes. I fought the disability label on myself for a really long time, and I hope that this isn't sounding or coming off the wrong way, but it was just because it felt like for me, I was like losing against my fight in this disease. Not that there's anything wrong with having a disability, but as a person, it just was hard for me to accept.
Yeah.
But once I did, I was really able to and really see, like, instead of pushing myself, for instance, there's this beautiful restaurant within our neighborhood that we live here in Austin, Texas, and there's a very long staircase to take up to it. And I push through and I do it and I go really slow behind my kids, but also, like, what if my disability was worse, or what if there's somebody that can't go upstairs and then they can't attend this restaurant? I just have such a different view of the world, like the baseball fields where I go to watch my son play. It's very difficult to navigate to get to the fields, and
Hmm.
while I do it, and I'm very fortunate that I have a husband that's strong that can hold me and help me to get there, not everybody can that has a disability. And so I feel like this is like a a new passion of mine of
Hmm.
wanting to gently remind people to be aware and to maybe think twice about people that aren't necessarily perfectly able-bodied, and how they can participate and not feel different, or not feel like they're asking just for extra. Like, we exist in this world as everybody else does, and our needs are just the same.
My God, girl. Wow. First of all, I just love you for coming on and talking about this, because a lot of people understand and can resonate with what you're talking about. One of my very, very good friends, I would say best friend, she's in a wheelchair. She always has been in a wheelchair, and she's a spitfire. She doesn't want any help from anybody.
Yeah.
We went to college together. That's where I met her, and she would be going at 100 miles an hour down the UCLA hallway, and there I am with my backpack in my 50s, going through menopause, going, Kiki, slow down. She's like, come on, this professor doesn't like us being late. But let me tell you, my whole world woke up when I just tried to go have lunch with her, because
Mm,
she's got a big ass van. She, like I said, she lives in her wheelchair, so she drives in her wheelchair. So she's got a big van with a big ramp that has to come
wow.
out the side. So she needs all that extra room that you see the handicap spaces. You know,
Hmm.
that's for her. And then when she does get her wheelchair out, down off the ramp, which extends pretty far out, she's got to turn around and the ramp's got to go back in. That's a lot of room just to be able to go to Target to buy new
Yes.
underwear or
Yes.
lipstick or whatever, because she's just like all the rest of us. She just happens to, be in a wheelchair. And
That's
when we
right.
go to restaurants, I notice that they often give those spots up to people, quote unquote, the valet people just give it up. And I'll be honest with you, you know how nice I am. I almost got into a huge fight with somebody. I mean, I went there before her to make sure there was parking for her. And he said there was two spots, and he said, "Yeah, they're already taken." I said, "Are those people, do they have disabilities?" He goes, "Yeah, they do." And I could tell he was lying. And I said, "Sir, I'm going to ask you again. I have a friend coming in a wheelchair. You're the valet. You could actually move those to the street." And he goes, they're handicapped." And he just got really snarky with me. And I said, "Wow, okay, great, thank you. You have a good day." And he looked at me like, and I said, "Dedee, zip your mouth, stick your car in reverse." It used to be
Well,
my
it's easier to get tough when it's for other people. You know
That's
what
it.
I
Had it
mean?
been
When
me,
for
I would
people.
have said, "Okay,
Exactly.
I'll go park in Santa Monica, even though I'm in the valley," which is what she had to do. She had to park up the road into a
Oh,
completely different parking place where they actually could, where she could get in and out of her van. And then we had to, once again, from UCLA down the corridors, we're going down the boulevard in the valley, going back to the restaurant, because she had to park, like I said, a mile away. But I was so mad because of the flippant just disregard. And
yeah,
I thought everyone needs to spend one day with somebody like, who has these experiences that we take for granted, you know,
absolutely. I
and yeah,
mean, you
that's the
you
social.
have you have these experiences where, look, you understand, like, it's not to make anybody feel bad, but I have the perspective of just truly, like, we are nothing without our health, and to live a life where it's sometimes people don't understand, like, how hard it is to, like, muster up the courage and the strength to push past your limitations,
Yes.
and to still participate in your life. I went through a very intense period where I just started really removing myself, whether it even be from acting or going out with girlfriends or friends or my family. And I had an intervention with my friends and family where they were like, you need to leave the house. You need to go back to work. You need to understand that you can still do everything you love to do. Like, we are here to support you. If you want to, there's a concert you want to see, we'll throw you on our back and carry you through. Like, you've got to show up. And so to understand and have compassion from my own experience, and so for others, of like how hard it is sometimes to push past your limitations and then show up somewhere there and be met with even met with no assistance or
Yeah.
no accessibility for maybe somebody that might have a disability, is really hard. But with that said, I'm also very aware of when, whether it be a place of business or whatever it is, and seeing little adjustments that they have made for people with disabilities, I'm so appreciative. And so I want to be more aware and make it my mission to call out the good things that I
Yeah.
see as opposed to the bad. So maybe that can gently show other people the right way to do things. Even if it's like, I mean, I live in Austin, Texas. So, like, the events I go to are baseball and lacrosse games. But like in LA, like, if you have these events, like, you're inviting people, if you're maybe have a drop off that's closer to the place. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
some people, where walking might be hard.
You're absolutely right. I love that. And I think you said a word earlier. Actually, I know you said a word that I grabbed onto because a lot of my guests have this approach, which I love. That you can slap people with information, you can shove it down their throat, you can get in their face, but I don't find people listen very well when you
No.
do that. But when you said, I just want to gently remind them that there are others out there that are maybe not as able-bodied, as you might be, and to be mindful of that because we don't want anyone to feel bad. Like I don't want anyone to feel bad. I don't think anyone who's doing it like
No,
that restaurant didn't purposely think, I don't want anyone with a wheelchair here.
absolutely not.
They were thinking aesthetically, well, the stairs would be very grand, it'd be gorgeous, and da da da. And then smash cut, now you're in the millennium, and we're like, yeah, but my friend can't go to that restaurant with me. I don't think that was ever their intention, right?
Of course not. Of
But I
course not.
love that. I love that you're here to say, let's gently remind people, because that's where the solution is. By the way, the
Mhm.
solution is absolutely in the gentle reminders. It's the same thing with addiction, by the way. A lot of what you're talking about is addiction. Like every day you wake up and you say, I'm not going to drink or use my drug of choice or whatever it is. It's a day you get to lean into it and prove to yourself that you can do it. It's not easy, and that's what you went through, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm existing, not living.
Yeah. Yes.
I will
Yes.
admit I did that for a long time in my what I even though I wasn't drinking and I wasn't active in my disease, I wasn't completely living because I was scared.
Hmm.
I didn't want to go out because I thought, oh, I'm going to be triggered. I'm going to want to drink. I'm going to want to smoke a smigarette. Girl, I did it all. I'm very talented. So whatever I get my claws on. Um, but and so I think it says a lot to say, hey, hold on. It's funny you had an intervention. I kind of had one with my family, but at the end of the day, what you're saying is that we all have something going on. And
Yes.
if yep, and you are not your disability any more than
No,
I am my disease. It's what we live with,
that's
right?
right.
And if you were handed that thing, whatever they want to call it, title it, it's not about having it because that's the reality. What are you going to do with it, right?
That's right.
What you
Exactly.
gonna
I
do
love it. I
with
just got
it?
chills. I love it.
Yeah, right. And my podcast stemmed from my sobriety. Not every episode's about that, but this is absolutely what I'm doing with it. And I hear that you're
Yes.
going to be doing something. You're going to be becoming more of a voice for those people, and I love that about you.
Yeah, I just want people, I want people to not feel alone. I want them to feel represented. I understand that I'm in this position where I can do that on whatever small little platform that I have. And, it's also helping me at the same time. I think that I've learned through a lot of like hard times that vulnerability has actually become my superpower. I
Mm.
didn't realize prior to MS like how closed off I was. I always wanted to be perfect. I always wanted to be a good girl. I wanted to do everything right.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to ask for help ever. And now I'm in this position where I have to ask for help. And you understanding what I'm going through helps me feel more comfortable. It's now I'm like, I don't have time for small talk ever. Like I want to get deep. I want to get real. Let's get down. Like tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you're going through. I need to unload my shit on you right now. Like it's just actually taught me how to live a lot better. Even though it's made my life harder,
Hmm.
it's taught me to live better, if that makes sense.
Oh my God, girl, it makes so much sense. I'm the same way. It's kind of like I think some people are like, okay, every time I'm around Dee, we end up talking about something really deep or really important
Yeah.
or very like profound or whatever. And it's like, can we just talk about nail polish for one time, Dee? And I'm like, well, we can, but have you seen my nails? I mean, I'm not gonna be able to contribute to that
Yeah.
conversation for more than 5 seconds. And then I'll go into, did you know that the nail polish has
That's
really
right.
toxic stuff? There's formaldehyde in there. And you not, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, now she's brought it into environmental issue. I said, because that's important. And that's what,
Yeah.
like, I get I get excited about being part of the solution, whatever that might be. And we
Hmm.
have the opportunity being celebrities to add to the conversation is what I call it.
Yeah. Yes. And
Talking at
yeah.
people is not very effective, but asking people to join you and having the conversation and finding those those places of solution, and they're different for everybody, right?
And not everybody knows. I mean, not everybody's aware, and that's not their fault. And that's why I said I'm like, I'm never here to make anybody feel bad. about something that they weren't aware of. It just wants you to understand how people like me live. That's all. And then when you put that in people's minds and you put that in their awareness, I think that it just the little things start to show up. And like I said, I saw firsthand from an entire crew of a
Mhm.
show, and like I it allowed me to fall in love with acting again because I didn't have to worry about how I was going to move or navigate a set. Um, it allowed me to just like really care about showing up and doing my job.
And I got to tell you, first of all, you're phenomenal. You were a fan favorite.
Oh,
I just loved you anyway, so you couldn't do wrong in my eyes. And I just love what you did with the character. My God, that
oh,
all.
thank
Remember, we
you.
were like, "What's going on with Tanya?" You're like, "I don't know."
She
I
was
think, "Oh,
definitely the most fun girl I got to play. Like she really is just a survivor, and she
yeah,
was just going to be whatever she needed to be to get
yeah."
ahead.
I just like love. I every time I would read a script, I'm like, what's happening? But I love that because I thought the audience, if I'm doing that, the audience is gonna go, "What is going on?" And
I know.
you and Ryan, and oh my God, and that was just fantastic.
We
But
had a
let's
great
go back. There was a scene that a very special director. I loved all the directors, and I love the entire crew of Big Sky. As you can tell,
Oh yes.
I'm mourning that. What a fantastic group of people. Um, it's with great loss for a lot of people, our fans, and also those of us who enjoy doing the show. But you had that one episode, and her main. Oh my God, what's her name? I love her, and
Tasha?
yes, she created that scene. How could I forget that name? I love.
Okay. Yeah, so this
Tell us.
was my first, no, my the second episode I was in. So I knew that, so when they had cast me, I had seen the script. So I remember I had said to Elwood and the team behind Big Sky, like, listen, you guys, I cannot run. I know you have this scene written in the show where she's running through the woods. I can't. And they said, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. Now I was new to the show. I was very nervous. I was more nervous, meaning that they had to figure it out, and feeling really uncomfortable that that was having to happen. But I remember I showed up to set and Tasha was so excited and she's like, Jamie, I need you to come back here. I got to show you what we figured out. I got to show you this thing that we created. And they took me to the back of the set and they had this rig on this big cart, and she's like, you're going to sit here, I'm going to strap you in so you're not going to have to move, and the camera is going to be strapped right in front of you, and you're just going to pretend you're running. We're going to have him behind you and they're never going to see the bottom of your body, and you're going to get to do this scene, because I assumed it was going to have to be with a stunt double. She's like, no, you're going to get to do it. You're going to get to run and scream and cry. And it was like, I was so emotional. I got super close with Kathy, our stunt coordinator, and when I sat down and she was strapping me, she saw me tearing up. She's like, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm just, I'm so appreciative of this moment. Like, I get to still do this scene and get to feel like I'm running again and get to do this. And I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative to all of you. And they were also pumped. I mean,
Oh,
everyone was so excited that they were like making movie magic, you
there
know?
you go. Movie fucking magic. That's what we do is allow an
Yeah.
actress who can no longer run, make it look like she runs. Hello,
Hmm.
it's easy to get an actor who can run, but you know what
Yeah.
movie magic is? Making it look like you can run when you can't. And guess what? I heard that story and I wasn't even in the scene. I don't even think I
Yeah.
was in LA that week. And the word got around and everyone's
Oh,
like, "Oh my God." We were more
yeah.
jazzed about that scene in our entire show. Even when Jensen showed up.
Oh,
That was a big day when Jensen and Reba
oh
showed up.
yeah.
But honestly, we're still talking about that scene with you and how Tasha was able to say, we're going to find a way and we're going to do it. Look at her go.
I know.
I
It
got
was
to
awesome.
oh, amazing. I'm so proud and grateful to have been on that show and these stories that we're able to come now and talk about. But I never asked you about that because, well, I'm going to admit something. And here
Yeah.
we go. When we were first met, this goes hand in hand with that you're not your disability anymore, that I'm my disease. Um, I highly doubt when you met me, you probably thought, I bet you she's recovering from alcoholic.
No.
She's yeah, but this is not what we are. It's not who we are. We don't like carry that around. Although if you talk to me for any more than 10 minutes, you will find out because I'm very loud and proud and I'm recovering. I tell everybody. But when I first met you,
As
we
you
were
should.
right, yeah. We were sitting there, we were talking, and we were about to do a scene when you would come into Doolin Hoyt, Denise's home.
Mhm.
And they were doing our touch-ups and they were like, okay, on the set. And you got up and I think you had like just like a
Like a walking stick.
yeah, walking stick, exactly. So literally This is so mean. I went, oh, she probably sprained her ankle, or
Yeah.
she's got a bad knee. Because I have gone to the set with a cast, and they had to shoot around my broken ankle because after snowboarding, doing civil, it was the whole thing. So I know I've gone with on crutches and stuff, and never thought twice about it. It was literally months later, and I think it was my producer's boyfriend Nick, maybe, or somebody who said, who's the makeup artist on the show, said, "No, honey, no, she doesn't have a broken foot or a sprained knee." And I was like, "What? No, she did." They're like, "Yeah." I go, "How come I didn't know this?" They're like, "Dedee, you're always the last to know everything, even in the Pfeiffer family. I don't even know what
You're
you
not. Don't worry. Literally, there. I have been in this situation many times where people are
Yeah,
like, "Wait, what? I had no
yeah. What?
idea."
I thought you did that.
Well, because I mean, I don't talk about it. I don't
Yeah,
lead with it. If you want to ask me, of course I'll bring it up. But, I also think that there was an opportunity for people. I think people are sometimes like wary of talking about it or bringing it up, or
yes.
there's that almost that awkwardness. And I think I had that awkwardness for a long time too, because I didn't know how to talk about it. Well, also, I had kept it a secret for 16 years. So now that I'm like, no, ask me about it. Let's just get it out of the way so that we know. And then, it got to the point where people would ask me questions about it and how I'd feel about it. And I'm so happy because I don't want it to be this taboo thing. I mean,
Right.
this is just the same about me as if it would be asking about you and your kids and your marriage. It's part of my life. But like you said, it doesn't define me. It's not all that I bring to the table.
Oh
And
God.
I think that that's why I'm very encouraged by, our business in particular when it gets back up and running
Hello.
of just about like the accessibility inclusivity aspect of it all, because the truth of the matter is I used to think I could only audition for certain types of roles, and I credit my manager and my agent for always telling me, no, Jamie, you're going to go out for everything, and then we can have the honest conversation. Because I always say, listen, if this is going to at all get in the way of your creative vision, I get it, then I'm out, because I want to feel comfortable, I want you to feel comfortable. But we all, any shape, size, color, ability, all of it all should, you never know who's going to be the perfect person for this role, because the truth of the matter is I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a lot of things in this life. Also has MS, comes along, but it doesn't stop me from showing up for all those other roles. And aren't we just telling human stories? So if anything, I had one of our producers from Big Sky, Ross Feynman, call me one time and say, Jamie, I think one, you should consider incorporating this in the next role that you play, because it deepens a story. And, if I can ever help you with that, I was just so encouraged to like have somebody that I respected, like tell me that and think that they were inspired by what I was living with. It's giving me even like more excitement about what I can do in this future in this business, as opposed to like when I felt like the window was getting like so small of what I could do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And something, I think what you're all talking about too is perception, how we perceive things. The doors were
Mhm.
closing because that's how you were thinking and feeling.
Absolutely.
And yet actually those doors were always there, but now you're seeing them, and you're also walking, no pun intended, you are walking right through those doors saying, closed doors are not okay over here. Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
if it's closed, you're going to find a way, you know,
Yeah.
with a director like Tasha, to get you through that door somehow. They'll strap you onto a truck and drive you through that door.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Jamie Lynn, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Do you believe in the supernatural or the paranormal? Yes or no, and why? I love
Of,
your face.
of course I do.
Oh,
I I've I've never believed that it's just us. Let me look at our galaxy. For us to believe that we are the only planet that has any living, breathing things is crazy. I just get very overwhelmed by that thought, that I've never gone into like really going there, thinking about it, researching it. I respect it. I'm aware, but do you know what I mean? Like
oh
sometimes
yeah.
the thought of it just gets like too overwhelming to me. Like last night I went in our pool at night, and where we live in Texas, like there's no lights, especially in our neighborhood. And out here we live in the hill country. So the stars are bananas. And like I was just looking up being like, we are so small. Like
Yep.
my world feels so big, but it's really so small compared to like what's really out there.
I think it's really humbling
Yes.
to say and be willing and open to some other life forms. And I hope there's other life forms because I have a feeling they're over here visiting us right now saying, hey, can you guys knock it off with the nukes? Can you knock it off with destroying the most beautiful blue planet with life and water and animals? And there's so much love. 80% of all mankind believe in love and harmony. That's what we really want. There's less than what, or actually say the way around, I think it's like 95%. And there's like 5% that want, they're about ego and power and money and they don't care about these things that we do. But as long as we're part of the majority of the people that really do want it to get it together, we're going to make it,
Well,
because I'm
didn't the
with you.
government just say that they
Oh yeah,
have
they're acknowledging what I knew a
But
long time
like,
ago.
so
Yeah.
what are they? They're definitely just curious about us, right? Because if they
Yeah.
wanted to hurt us, they would have knocked us out a long time
Oh my
ago.
God, thank you for saying that. Because I say this in every single podcast. If they wanted to hurt us, they would have by now. I
They
mean,
would
that's just math.
have.
That's just math. Come on, guys. But it's always
Exactly.
about conquer, divide, be the big boy. No one's going to be bigger or stronger or more advanced than us. And it's like, sweetie, I think you need to take a big breath, chillax. There is something bigger and greater than us. And you can still have your God, by the way. I would never touch anybody's religion. That's over here. But what we're talking about is something
That's
else.
completely
Neighbors
separate.
upstairs, girl, we got some neighbors upstairs. We got some neighbors down in the sea. We don't even know what's going on in the depths of our sea. We
Oh
still,
God, I really hope we find out in this
I
lifetime. I
know.
mean,
Well,
I know I'll be alive in another lifetime then to
there you
learn
go.
about it too, but like I really hope. Don't you feel like we're like really living in a shift? I mean, every life, every, you know, generation has a shift, but I really feel like there's like a huge one in this one.
Okay, that is crazy you said that because everyone I've talked to and all of the things that I watch are saying that. Even people who do not believe in anything that I talk about, they're very linear. They're very, they're just like, I'm not going to the crazy train, GD, with you. Sorry. I
Right.
say that's fine, but don't you feel there's something going on that go? I do feel that there's something
There's
about to
just an
happen.
awareness. There's just like
Yeah.
us just being aware of breaking generational trauma and behavioral patterns and different things like that. Like I feel like our generation has had like a lot of the work of that. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that our kids are just gonna really take the, I mean, we're all just better versions of our parents, right? We're doing the best we can to sort of be like, that wasn't cool, but that was cool and you did your best, but I'm going to try and, and we have to have grace for ourselves during that as well. But I don't know. I feel like we're on the cusp of something like really cool right now.
I agree. And from what I understand with my spiritual work, and I have a lot of people who I'm not alone in all my thinking and all that when it comes to, the pineal gland and the whole, I got to talk about this stuff. It's amazing.
Ah,
And they say that if one can get more in line with the authentic self of that we are matter but we're more energy than we are matter, that there's something very defining in that and very powerful, more powerful than any nuke or war could possibly bring us to, especially if you have a bunch of people who are feeling that same vibration, energy, and frequency. It's you can move mountains. I mean, there's some major power in that, and it's all from love. Great thoughts, love in your heart, getting in tune, ignoring the noise, keeping your poise, right?
oh, I love it.
And
I
just
love that.
because that's what we have to be really careful with AI and computers and TV and all this stuff. I mean, no one's saying don't watch any of this stuff. We do it for a living. We'd be unemployed if we told, do not ever turn on your TV or go to a movie. We'd be unemployed. But be mindful of what you're watching, right? That's all. And cut it down. So it's,
Well, protecting your energy, harnessing I'm with you. I'm a full believer in energy
yeah,
and the power of it. I think everything is anything. Everything, money is energy. I think everything is just an exchange. Nothing has any value unless you give it any. So
there
you
you go.
really have the power to create your world.
Right, because if you're giving money all your power, right, then therein it lies. And look at all the cutthroat people and the people and all of that ego and all of that kind of stuff that you're going to be then living in, and that's going to be what you eat, drink, and sleep, and then your soul, it absorbs all of that, and that's what you get put out. That's what you get back. But then
That's
there's a
right.
whole generation right now, a whole movement of people who are like, yeah, I need money to survive, but hold on, hold up, it's bigger than that. It's got to be
That's
more than
right.
that. And
That's
that's
right.
what right? Like, is my soul in this body in this lifetime? Is this it? Like, is this it? Because if that's it, why bother getting up tomorrow? But if we're part of a bigger picture or on a journey to something even better or bigger, and I don't know what that looks like, it could be reincarnation. I don't know, but that leads me to my next question, Jamie Lynn.
What's
If you
that?
can be reincarnated as any animal, what would it be and why?
It would definitely be a dog, only because tell me a dog that doesn't walk into a room and just see everyone's face light up. Like the second my dog walks into a room, everyone in my family's like, "Hi." Like I want to be that. I want to make people feel that way when I walk into a room. I want people to get on the floor on their
Yep.
hands and knees because they need to like snuggle me. That's so a dog.
I love that because I have two. I've had many animals my entire. I'm just such an animal crazy person. As a little girl, I'd walk up the driveway with a duck, a little duck, and I found one at a garage sale. Yeah, I'm like that girl, and saving all the animals in the world, and then as a social worker try to save all the people in the world and then entertain all the people in the world. I just want everyone to be happy and smile, which is why I always generally go to the comedic card because it makes me feel good when I see people smile and laugh.
Mm,
So I'm with you. Whenever my dogs come into the room, you would think that the Pope walked in. It's like,
that's right.
oh, he walked in the room. Of course he
That's
did. He
right.
wants a treat, Dee.
We li we literally look at my dog. He's an old man. He's 14 and a half. And we'll look at him. We'll be like, look at him stretching.
he's
Perfect.
he's stretching.
Like when he's like goes over to his water bowl, we're like, you are so thirsty, as if it's just the most miraculous thing that he answered the call to go drink water. Like he's just
I know my dog likes her armpits. So whenever you go to her, her arms go up and over her head, and then
oh,
and then you're like, oh, look at you want the armpits of rubs.
exactly,
We're always
exactly. And like
narrating what we're doing too. We're just gonna
that's
rub the
it.
armpits a little.
That's it. And who knows what he's thinking about us, but it doesn't matter.
I
He
know.
still comes
I
back
think
for
that there
more.
must be like going, y'all crazy, okay? I'm a dog. Just feed me, love me.
Can I tell you a crazy story about my
Yeah.
dog really fast though? Why I think they understand what we're saying. So we were gonna get a second dog. And because we thought, you know what, Bean's in his like sunset years. Let's get him another dog. Maybe this will add to his life a little bit to have a younger pup around. So we saw this little puppy named Cowboy, and from this rescue, we were going to go to drive to Dallas to get him. The day before we were going to get him, we're like, Bean, you're going to get a baby brother, and it's going to be awesome. And he's going to have a little bed right next to you, and you're going to love it. So we leave. My husband and I go leave to drive to Dallas to get this dog. And the way our house is, it's kind of down from the street. So Bean sits at the window all day and he waits for everybody to come home. And once we're all home, he'll hang out. But until then, until every kid's home from school, everything, he's at that window all day. So my kids were home. They were with our sitter. He sees our car come down, and then he'll always come meet you at the laundry room door where we come through our driveway. So we come down, the kids run out to go see the new dog. A babysitter comes out and we're like, where's Bean? Where is he? We're screaming his name. Our sitter was like, he was just in the house. I don't understand. He barked when he saw your guys' car. We couldn't find him for 30 minutes. He was hiding in my husband's office under the desk. Tell me how this dog knew that we were bringing a dog home. He didn't see us get out of the car, nothing. All he saw was our car from the street. Finally, we found him. We bring him out to the driveway to meet the dog. He looked at him, like put his lip up like this and walked away and walked back in the house. But he knew, he understood. He has never not met us at that laundry door. Never,
Oh my
ever
God.
a single day, even if it's 10 times a day, we're in and out of the house. He's always right there. He knew, he understood.
No, and I believe that.
Because the dog was this big. It's like there was no seeing it in the window, nothing.
Wow. It's actually funny. We got a second dog for my dog, and she did the same thing. She was like, oh, you're
Really?
going to be taking that thing back, right? It's only here for like a minute. We're like, no, it's your
Right.
new friend. She's like, oh, no, no. It turned around, and walked away. And this day hates Star. It's really sad.
Oh, we had to get Cowboy another home because Bean was just so sad.
Yeah,
His
and my
mother.
Sparta, she just gets really ornery and mean. And thank God Star is smart to get out from the line of fire so she doesn't get bit. Because yeah, we're always like monitoring, like be nice, and she looks at me like I don't want to be nice. We're
Yeah.
like, honey, I know that you're in your golden years and you're in retirement. You have to be nice to Star. And Star's like, play with me, I love you. And she's like, no, you get out of my face, get out of
That's
my line.
right.
Yeah, yeah. We're like, Star, don't push it. You're lucky that she's allowing you in the house.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
right. You know, Jamie Lynn, I just love you and I adore you. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart coming on down with Dedee to help me be part of the solution, part of the conversation. And honey, well, you're just the best. And maybe we'll work together again one day. Maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah. Because I mean, Denise and Tanya never got to reunite after
We
you went
didn't
all
really
bad.
get to hang that much. I know, and I feel like she was gonna start to turn things around this
Oh,
next season.
totally.
I feel
Yeah.
like she was actually like on her way to like come to the other side, maybe like help you guys.
Oh, totally. I thought you were going to totally be like that double agent kind of thing, right? Where
That's what I for
like
sure.
where you don't want to trust you, but you kind of have to, and and the writers would have done a great job had they had the
I
opportunity.
know Elwood gave me like a couple of like nuggets of what was going to happen, and it was like,
Oh,
oh, it would have been so fun.
oh my God, I know. Well, you know what it is. Maybe one day we'll just do something else,
That's it. We just have to do
right?
something else.
Because we can do whatever we want, right? We're
That's
gonna make some.
right. That's right. We can create it all.
That's right, sweetie. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
You too. I love you. Thank you for having
Love,
me.
love you, sweetie. Bye.
For more information on today's guest, check out the show notes below or visit our website at www.downwithdedee.com.